My name is Ms. Richard. I teach art, and I teach advanced art and 7th grade art.
Where have you traveled and when?
Okay, I've traveled a lot. I've traveled to Costa Rica, I've traveled to France, Italy, Belgium, the Netherlands, England, Mexico. I might be forgetting some other ones. I try to travel as much as I can, so I started traveling in my mid-20s, and we try to go somewhere out of the country every year.
Favorite place that you've gone to and why?
Probably my favorite place that I've ever been to is Italy. We've traveled all around Italy because of the food, which is amazing, because of all the art that we get to see, all of the natural beauty, and then we also really enjoyed France also.
Words did you learn in France while you were there?
So I actually took French from middle school through high school, so I retained quite a bit of it, so I know a lot of French words. One thing that we had to say over and over in restaurants was "Avez-vous le lait froid pour les enfants?" which is, "Do you have cold milk for children?" For my kids. So that was something that we had to say over and over.
Where do you want to travel next?
There's 2 places that we would like to go. We'd like to go to Portugal. We've been before, but not for that long of a stay, so we'd like to go back there this summer. And then I really want to go to Croatia as well.
Ask her a couple of questions about places that she's traveled. Okay, so the first question is, what is your name?
My name is Sarah Emma.
And what do you teach?
I teach English.
Where have you traveled and when?
I've traveled a bunch of places in the United States, but I guess abroad would be Germany. And I traveled there my first year teaching, so that was like 2003, 2004.
What is your favorite place that you've gone?
I would say Germany is my favorite place.
Have you spoken any languages there?
I didn't really have to speak too much German because I was with my family who speaks English and German, but a couple times I had to say a few phrases here and there.
Do you have any words that you learned?
One word I learned was Sneefletchen, which means snowflake, because that was the name of my cousin's My Little Pony.
How many languages do you speak?
I only speak English.
What are your top travel tips?
I would say that you need to understand the culture and the laws of the place that you are visiting so that you can fit in as best you can and not do anything that would be disrespectful or illegal.
Is there anywhere you want to travel in the future?
I would say Italy is definitely somewhere I'd like to go in the future.
All aboard! Italy we go!
My name is Mrs. Mason.
And what do you teach?
I teach culinary arts
Okay.
at the high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the high school.
And where have you traveled and when?
I've traveled to a lot of places.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be a big cruiser. I used to take
Mm-hmm.
cruises yearly.
Mm-hmm.
I went Mexico, Bahamas, Bermuda, St. Martin, Puerto Rico, of course. I've been to Florida, Texas, Colorado. I'll be going to Germany.
Okay, so you've been everywhere.
I've been everywhere.
Okay. And what's your favorite place that you have traveled? And why?
Puerto Rico.
And why?
Because that's where my dad's from.
Okay.
Family's there.
And what language was spoken?
Spanish! No!
And what words did you learn in that language while you were there?
What words?
Yeah.
Like mi familia?
Well, are there any special words that
I also like heart.
and
Boiled chickens. My grandmother hung a chicken upside down and cut its head off, and that's what we have
That's
for
a
dinner.
good story.
That's a good story. That's another story.
And how did you feel about learning that language, that new language? I guess when you were growing up, how did you feel about learning it?
I lived in Puerto Rico for a while when I was a kid, and I learned that language, but lost it when I came back to the States.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it has a dear heart. This is how I communicate with my father.
Yes. And how many languages do
She
you
says
speak?
yes. I speak 1.5.
1.5. And do you have any travel tips?
Travel light.
Don't bring a lot of stuff.
Don't bring a lot of stuff.
That's a good tip.
Just go. I say just go on the whim of it. That's usually the best.
Just live.
Live!
Live in the moment.
Live in the moment.
And where do you want to go in the future and why?
Hawaii.
I want to go to Hawaii too.
My cousin lives in Hawaii. I'm gonna stay with him. The water is incredible there. Have you ever been to Caribbean? Oh,
I'm going on a cruise.
Oh, the water's like black and white. Literally, it's gorgeous.
Yeah. And do you have any other comments about traveling and stuff?
We're gonna travel together.
Yes, to Disney!
So that's my comment. I can't wait to travel with you.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Hi, I'm Chris. I'm here with Mrs. Hartman. So, what do you teach, Mrs. Hartman?
I teach high school orchestra, music theory, and I'm the district music chairperson.
Where have you traveled and when have you traveled to those places?
I have traveled quite a lot. When I finished my master's degree, I went to Europe for a month by myself, and I started in Spain. I went to France, I went to London, I went to the Netherlands, I went to Germany, down to Mexico at least like 7 times, all different areas of Mexico. I've been to Canada.
So what was your favorite out of all of those places?
I love Spain. I love Madrid, I love Alicante, Barcelona. Spain is just, it's wonderful, I love it. And of course I love France. The Netherlands was a surprise for me, and Amsterdam was a lot of fun. And it was beautiful. They had like tulips everywhere and windmills everywhere. It's a very green country.
Speak more than one language.
I do.
Which one is it?
Well, so I'm actually fluent in American Sign Language. I signed before I spoke. I actually had a hearing disability when I was born, so I signed up my whole life. I took the Regents in American Sign Language. I was going to go to school to be an interpreter, and then life path changed. I'm a music teacher, and I took Spanish in high school. I continued it in college. I really don't speak it. Part of my family, my Mexican side of my family, they do speak it, but I don't live with them, so I don't speak it at home at all. But when I was in Spain, it all came back to me, kind of. They said that I had a different Spanish than them. What I learned in school was not the Spanish that they spoke in Spain.
Any travel tips?
Ooh, travel tips. Be respectful of different cultures. I had a friend who didn't make any attempt to speak French, and was kind of coming across as just an American who everyone should know how to speak English.
Ew.
And exactly, ew. And they have a different opinion on France now after they visited, because they felt like everyone was a little rude to them. I went with my little study guide and I learned how to butcher the basic sentences. Every single time everyone was thankful that I put in an effort, and they asked me if I spoke English. And then they very respectfully spoke English with me. Be open-minded and travel as much as you can. I think we all realize how small our bubble is when we get outside of our bubble and visit, all the different cultures and areas in the world that are so beautiful and so fun to go to.
What is the biggest thing you've learned from travel?
It is possible. I can do things. I can do scary things. It's okay to take risks and to be a little nervous. That's good for personal growth.
So when you were traveling alone and you said you were scared, were you faced with like any challenges, and what were those challenges that you faced?
Thankfully, I didn't get into any bad encounters, but I was very smart. Being alone in a different country, a simple thing like I want to make sure my cell phone is always charged. If I'm catching a bus or like going on a train, I want to make sure that if anything happens, I could get in touch with my family back at home. So no bad encounters, and honestly, everyone was so welcoming and so helpful.
You know the company that you used?
Honestly, it was in Smithtown. It just had an airplane on it, like a travel agency, and I just walked in. I was like, I don't know.
Digital Boss, and this is
Andrew Budrus. Once I got to college, that was the first time I went to Europe. I went to London.
Germany, France, Netherlands, Belgium, Spain, Greece, Morocco, China, Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, Barbados, Belize, Bahamas.
I think it's about 15 or 16 places.
It's a lot of countries.
Yeah, a fair amount. So my favorite ones, I usually say my favorite country to visit is Italy.
Where do you want to go? Where else would you want to go, like that you haven't gone yet, or like would you want to return to any place you've been?
Yeah, so I definitely want to go to Scotland because I'm like half Scottish and I've never been there. I'd like to go to Czech Republic because the city of Prague is what I hear is like the best city in Europe. And I think I'd like to go to Peru to go to Machu Picchu. Maybe I'd like to go to South Africa and do like a safari, but then there's beaches and like the history there would be really interesting. So like there's a lot of places. And then the place I would like to go back to China too. That'd be cool.
So we're here with the phenomenal, the famous French teacher, Dr. K. So I'm gonna ask you a couple questions. Just need an answer. All right. So, well, we're gonna start off. What's your name?
Dr. K.
The full one. The full.
A full one.
Yeah.
Why do you need my full name?
Just to show the people like that it's just not Dr. K. It's more than. It's
Gonna
more.
Okay.
gonna give it to the full government.
Yeah.
Dr. Kucheryavenko.
Mm-hmm. Chiryavenko.
Oui.
What do you teach?
What do I teach? What I do not teach. I teach French language and grammar. And also I teach sometimes English grammar,
Okay.
which I love.
You
by
love
the
it?
way. I love grammar.
It's always good to love your job. It's always
Mhm.
good. Where have you traveled?
Where have I traveled? In a lot of different places. Do you want me to name you a few or all of them?
Name like 3.
3. Okay, well, within the limits of former Soviet Union, I would say Ukraine.
All right. So, where have you traveled?
I have traveled to Ukraine, Republic of Georgia, Belarus, further to the west, Czech Republic, Slovenia, Denmark, Sweden, Finland, Norway, okay, France, Germany. What else is there? Okay, I lived in Germany actually for a year. I not just traveled. America. Okay, going south. Mexico, Dominican Republic. Where else have I been? Let me think. I will come up with something. Don't remember it. Okay. Is that enough?
Yeah. What's your favorite place?
My favorite place? Well, besides France, of course. I loved Germany very much.
Why is that?
Germany is a very interesting country. It's a country that produces absolutely everything and everything of the highest quality possible. Believe it or not, I still have things that I brought from Germany more than 20 years ago, such clothing and shoes, for example, and it's still there, and it's still in good condition. You can wear it. Can you believe that? And it's all made in Germany.
Good. Did you learn like any new words there?
Oh yeah, I did learn how to speak German properly. Well, German is part of my education, my minor, but I truly learned how to speak it when I was there. And German grammar is something really, really interesting. If you understand that grammar, I think after that you will have no problem learning any other language.
Like you speak like fluent German?
I used to speak fluent. When I came here in 2000, I was speaking German, not English. And I found some German people in Texas, and I was talking to them in German, and it was really cool, you know, to find somebody who speaks what you speak. I didn't know a word in English when I came here.
How many languages do you speak?
I do speak 4: Russian, I speak French, English now, and German.
Cool. And do you have any travel tips?
Travel tips. Yes, of course. Okay, well, travel tips for students or for adults? Adults. Okay, you need to go to the places less known, discover something interesting in those places. Don't go for big cities like Paris, everybody knows Paris. Go for smaller places, not that much on the news, but I'm sure you will find out something very special in those places.
Where do you want to go in the future?
In the future, you know what? Japan.
Japan. Why is that?
Japan, it's a mystery country. You need to go there to find, it's a completely new culture, new world, beautiful nature, beautiful cuisine. I just want to learn something about that.
And do you have any other comments?
Learn languages, that's my advice. More is better.
And that'll be all, folks. Again, the famous Dr. K. Nice speaking to you.
A hug. Thank you. Okay.
What is your name and what do you teach?
My name is Mr. Sholey and I teach social studies here at Belport High School.
Right. Where have you traveled and when was it?
I've traveled to Mexico in, I'd say, about 2010, and I traveled to Dominican Republic in probably 2011, 2 vacation spots, very nice, beautiful countries, and I've been around various parts of America, United States.
And does that include your Army?
Yes, so my military service, so I spent my time in Fort Benning, Georgia in the South. I have been to other parts of the country. I've been to California, the Midwest a few times, I've been with family out there, I've been to Florida a bunch of times, and up and down the East Coast seaboard.
Okay.
I think Mexico is my favorite place that I've been to. It's a lot of fun, and it's a beautiful country.
What language was spoken there and what did you learn from it?
They spoke Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. What I learned from it, not much. The people are very hospitable and nice. I mean, you get that on a resort because it's their job, but yeah, exactly. You hope they'd be nice. But that's about it. I don't speak Italian very well, but I could say probably very basic stuff if I found myself in Italy, and I could say probably very basic stuff in Brazil or Portugal if I were to speak Portuguese. And another travel tip: don't ascribe American values onto other countries, like things like possibly bringing any sort of drugs or anything of that nature to other countries, like maybe Russia, for example. That would be a bad idea.
Hello, hola. My name is Shannon Rigney, and I'm a Spanish teacher at Belport Middle School and Belport High School, and I speak Spanish and English. I've been to Ecuador, Peru, and Mexico. My favorite place that I've traveled to is Ecuador because that's the first place that I've ever traveled to outside the United States. I studied abroad through my college, SUNY New Paltz, and was able to stay with a host family when I was there. They taught me so much Spanish, and I was able to learn a lot more conversational Spanish. I was able to learn how to get around in Spanish, taking the bus, taking a taxi, buying stuff, ordering food, all these things that I had never experienced only in Spanish before. I learned a lot about the culture and food there, like I ate yapingachos, I ate pan de yuca, I ate cuy, and also choclo is another word for corn. I learned that they call a banana a guineo, and I also learned that they call sisters or hermanas ñañas. That last word comes from an indigenous language that's spoken there, and I love learning about the indigenous cultures behind the Spanish, in the Spanish-speaking cultures. I think language learning is important because it opens up your mind and it opens up your heart. It gives you so many new possibilities. There's a whole new group of people that you can now communicate with, learn from, and share with, and I think it's just such a beautiful thing and experience. And just so you know, some other things that language learning helps with is actually your overall academic performance. It also helps with your memory, so you'll have a better memory. If you learn a new language, it helps with your creative thinking, and it also helps you expand your English vocabulary. So there's a lot of benefits, highly recommend. And ways that I've learned language apart from school and traveling is to listen to music in that language, watch shows and movies in that language. You can use subtitles if you want, either in English or that language as well. And just practicing, trying, having fun, and going for it, even if you make mistakes, because that's what it's all about. Just using it, trying it, experiencing it, and making friends and having experiences along the way. Adios.
So my name is Erica Della Rosa, and I'm the principal at Belport High School.
Where have you traveled and when?
So I have traveled to a lot of places. From high school through college and through my first master's degree, I studied foreign languages, so I traveled to a lot of different places, mostly in Europe.
Okay. Would you like to name a few?
Sure. So I did a summer program in France where I studied at the University of Lille up in the north. I did a summer program in Spain at the University of Salamanca in Spain over by Portugal. I did several semesters in Italy in both Rome and Venice.
What is your favorite place you have gone to and why?
So I'm a little partial. My family's Italian. We grew up speaking Italian at home. And so I'm a little partial to Italy, but you know, there are a lot of wonderful places in the world that you can travel to.
What languages do you speak?
Spanish, French, and Italian.
How do you feel about learning a new language?
So I think that languages and communication overall is really the key to moving forward in the world, and communication is hugely important. And if you can't speak the same language, it is very difficult to communicate. So languages help you communicate with others and help you get other experiences.
Do you have any travel tips?
So my travel tips would be to, when you go to a new place, to try to understand the culture and to live as the locals would live, to not just do the touristy things, but to do the things that local people would do.
Where do you want to go into the future and why?
So as I said, I've spent a lot of time in Europe traveling. I would love to go to Asia. I would love to see Australia. Pretty much anywhere.
Do you have any other comments?
Not really.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Okay, you're very welcome.
What is your name?
Hi, I'm Mr. Watkins.
What do you teach?
I teach math.
What kind of math?
I teach Algebra 1, but I also, you see this office right here. I'm in charge of restorative practices for the district.
What's that mean?
It means that we deal with issues when harm is done, not really discipline, but restoring relationships. So student have conflict, or student and teacher, they come here and we try to help them work it out.
Very cool. Where have you traveled?
I've traveled to a number of different countries. I don't know, you want me to list them?
You can name your favorite one.
My favorite one, well, it's two. I was in the Army. So when I was in the Army, I was stationed in South Korea. So South Korea was pretty cool. I've been to South Africa, I've been to Dubai, I've been to all the Caribbean islands, Jamaica, Bahamas, Bermuda. You know, I've been inside the United States all around. So I traveled a lot.
What language was spoken in South Korea?
So in South Korea, it's Korean. Like, Korean is what they speak. It's interesting because I don't know, Korea is broken up in North Korea and South Korea. I don't know if there's two different languages or they both just speak Korean. But when I was there, they spoke Korean.
What words did you learn while you were there?
So when I was there, I took a Korean language speaking class so I could communicate, so I could understand, not quite the enemy, like South Korea, they're not the enemy, they're actually allies of the United States, yeah. So, so 안녕하세요 means like hello. I know Adashi and Agashi is man and woman, a couple other words, but you know, while I was over there, it was useful. I did speak a Korean speaking language class.
How do you feel about learning a new language?
I think it could be intimidating, hard, challenging when you're older, right? So if you want a new language, it's like dual language programs in kindergarten or first grade, second grade, such great things, because when you're younger, your mind is like a sponge and you can absorb all these things. When you're old, though, it's very difficult to learn new things. Yeah. You know, similar to that. So if you're learning languages, I suggest while you're in school, like I was better at in college, I'd take Spanish for a couple of years. And it actually helped me. I was in Mexico and I got robbed. That's not funny, right? Why are you laughing? Okay, so a little kid stole my money off the table and my Spanish came in handy. I said, ayúdame, necesito policía, por favor, but no, the police didn't come, right? Kid got away with $40. I'm quite angry about that.
Like pesos or like real
No, it was Americano.
Wow.
Dinero. Yeah, I wish it was pesos.
How many languages do you speak?
I mean, I speak one language.
English?
I speak English, yeah. I try to speak Spanish. My wife's from Haiti, so she speaks Creole, Haitian Creole. So I learned that. I know a little bit of Haitian Creole also.
Do you have any travel tips?
Yes, travel tips. Learn easy translatable words like help, like you know, things like conversation stuff. So hello, what's your name? You know, things like that. So you're able to talk about it. So when I went to South Africa, in the country of South Africa, there's 8 different languages spoken. So the country has 8 official languages, but the one that bonds everybody together is English. So they speak a lot of different dialects. So English usually helps you.
Where do you want to go to the future and why?
So, I've been to Japan too. That was on my list. So my next stops, I want to go to Morocco. I also want to go to North Africa, so Egypt, somewhere like that.
Morocco's in the World Cup.
Morocco was in the World Cup, so Morocco, Spain, Portugal, they're all, even though Portugal, I don't really like Portugal's team, but Spain, I like, is my next destination, so I'll be there. I'm going back to Costa Rica next month, though. So Costa Rica I've been to, also been to Panama, Colombia, I'm going to Colombia in February. So those are the things that I'm going to.
Sounds like you do a lot of work around here.
I do a lot of work. That's why they pay me to go these vacations.
Do you have any other comments?
Yeah, next time I want to interview with somebody other than Logan, please, can I get a real broadcast journalist student other than Logan? All right, that would be my only thing.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Mr. Pluth, so what would you say is the most interesting place you've traveled?
Out of America?
Yeah.
I haven't been out of America much, sad to say. I've really only been in Mexico.
Oh, how was that?
It was okay.
Do you know the language?
Spanish?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. What's the most interesting place in America, though, you would say?
Most interesting place in America. Define interesting.
A place that you were excited to go to.
Man, I like a lot of places, but I think one of my favorite places is Maine, Acadia National Park.
What drew you to Maine? Did you go up there a lot, or?
No, I was introduced to Maine by Budrus and Hoff, who have like a cabin up there.
Oh, that's cool.
And I kind of fell in love with it, so we used to go there quite a bit.
Growing up in school and stuff, did you learn any languages or anything?
I took Italian.
Oh, okay. Do you still know any? Can you show off some words or anything?
I think I remember how to say like my name, mi chiamo Dennis. Was it como se llama? Was asking someone there, but I would say my top three are like England, maybe like England and Ireland together. I know that's technically two separate places, but if I was going to England, I'd probably want to go to Ireland at the same time because they're right there. I'd like to go to Germany, and I want to go to Japan.
What's the main motivator that draws you to these places?
I don't. I just maybe because America was founded by the English, and there's these great series called by Smithsonian. They're called Ariel, and they have like these flyovers of towns, and they explain things. And I've watched the whole one about about England and the UK, and it just looks just absolutely gorgeous, like that old Europe.
Yeah,
so I'm drawn to that, and Ireland because I got some Irish roots, and
I feel like it fits your vibe very much.
Yeah, and Germany. My wife has family over there, and I'll be honest, I want to go during Oktoberfest. So I would like just Germany. Just always seemed like a cool place. I also have German heritage, so it would be kind of cool. And then. I've always just been fascinated by Japan. I feel like it's different than a lot of the other Asian countries. We tend to ignorantly like anyone who looks Asian is just from the same country, and they're very different. They have very different cultures, and it's a very different culture.
Definitely.
I've always been interested by it, and I would like I'd like to check it out.
Yeah, it's cool because.
Hello, my name is Miss Daniel. I am the 8th grade assistant principal at Bellport Middle School. And I would like to give you some information about my travel experiences. So I have been to Paris, Rome, Jamaica, I've been to Haiti, and this summer I'm going to Dominican Republic, and I'm also going to Hawaii. My favorite place that I've gone to was definitely Paris. I enjoyed the food, I enjoyed the culture, and I enjoyed visiting all of the historical sites. The languages that were spoken in the countries that I've been to were French and Italian and Haitian Creole. Love learning a new language. I actually speak Creole because my father is Haitian and Dominican. I am not 100% fluent in the language, but I'm able to have a conversation. Another opportunity for you to communicate and for you to embrace a different culture. So where do I want to go in the future? I definitely want to go to Ghana. I am very, very much in love with Africa and with African cultures, and I would love to see different aspects of that beautiful continent. So Ghana is in my near future, and that is all there is to know about me in terms of travel. Have a great day.
I'm Sal DePuma. I'm a Bellport World Language teacher at the middle school. I have been to Italy and Greece and Turkey. My favorite places to go were Greece and Turkey. Definitely Mykonos and Santorini and Ephesus in Turkey, which was really cool. I did learn a couple words. Kalimikta means good night. Kalimera is good day or good morning. Parakalo means please. And so in Turkish, the only word I remember from Turkish is şerefe, which is cheers. And that's kind of it.